It's been a long road, but we finally arrived at election week. Tuesday is election day. And the question is, what's happened to this race over the last few weeks? What kind of picture do we have at the end? Well, I think what we have at the end here is a race that looks very close. What's happened over the last week to 2 weeks is indisputable. It has tightened up. It has tightened up to the benefit of Donald Trump, who's pulled much closer to Hillary Clinton nationally and much closer in a series of important swing states. What happens in the end obviously depends on who's got a turnout machine that produces what kind of vote among their core constituencies. But in the meantime, one of the things that's cleared up as well is what are the set of states that are worth watching most closely on election night. I'm going to be looking at 5 states in particular. The first one is Florida. We've talked about it here before. We'll talk about it at the end. Florida is the key state in many ways in this whole campaign. It's very hard to see a path that Donald Trump wins in the Electoral College unless he wins Florida, so that's the first state to watch. The second state to watch is North Carolina, which has been a very interesting state where Democrats thought they could pull a red state back, make it blue, and make the Electoral College math really difficult for Donald Trump. It's now moved a little bit back in the opposite direction. I think Republicans are feeling better about North Carolina. If they hang on to that, then a lot of other scenarios become possible. Third state is Pennsylvania. This one is simply important because it would be a total game changer if it switches from Democrat to Republican. It looks as if it's probably safe for the Democrats and Hillary Clinton, but it also has gotten much tighter in recent days. There's going to be attention paid to Pennsylvania in the final hours of the campaign. Watch that space as well on Tuesday night. The fourth state I would watch is New Hampshire, just because it's been an interesting bellwether state. It's unique in a lot of ways, but it also has many of the kinds of voters who could be decisive elsewhere. It also has moved back and forth. It seemed to be moving toward the Democrats. It seemed to be moving back toward the Republicans, and now looks pretty much up for grabs, and it's going to be an interesting state to watch. It also figures into Electoral College math, particularly for Mr. Trump. And then finally, the late starter here, the surprise that we're talking about at the end, is Michigan. Michigan was a state that obviously has been Democratic in presidential politics. It looked to be pretty safe for the Democrats a couple of weeks ago. Suddenly it's roared back into contention. Both campaigns, both candidates have spent some time there. That also would be a potential game changer if it shifted from Democrat to Republican. Big movements in Michigan in the last couple of weeks, worth watching at the end.